Have you ever felt like you are caught in a frustrating trap? You have massive goals. You dream of building a successful career, writing a book, or launching a business. Your mind is constantly buzzing with brilliant ideas. But when time comes to actually do the work, you just can't seem to move. You stare at a blank screen, scroll through your phone, or clean your room for the third time today. You feel incredibly lazy, yet your ambition never goes away. It is an exhausting cycle of high expectations and zero execution. Most people look at this and call it laziness or a lack of discipline. But psychology tells a completely different story. Today we are going to look behind the curtain of the ambitious but lazy mind, discover exactly why your brain is playing this trick on you, and look at how to finally break the cycle. This contradiction is more common than you think. Millions of people live in this exact state of limbo. They are paralyzed by their own potential. They feel guilty because they know what they are capable of, yet they cannot seem to bridge the gap between thought and action. When you are ambitious but inactive, you suffer from a specific type of mental friction. You are not lazy in the traditional sense. A truly lazy person does not care about achieving big goals. They are perfectly content doing nothing. If you are feeling stressed, anxious, or frustrated about your lack of progress, you are not lazy. You are emotionally blocked. Understanding this distinction is the first step toward reclaiming your focus and your life. To understand why this happens, we have to look at the psychological concept of perfectionism. Many psychologists believe that what we call laziness is actually a defense mechanism against the fear of failure. When you have high ambitions, you naturally want the outcome to be perfect. Your brain looks at your massive vision and immediately feels overwhelmed. If the project cannot be flawless, your mind decides it is safer not to start at all. This is called perfectionist paralysis. Your ambition sets a standard so high that your brain views the task as a threat to your self-esteem. By avoiding the work, you protect yourself from the possibility of failing. But here's what most people don't realize. Procrastination is not a time management problem. It is an emotion management problem. This brings us to a second psychological concept known as dopamine desensitization. Ambitious people love the feeling of achievement. The problem is that simply thinking about your big goals releases a small dose of dopamine in your brain. You get a psychological reward just by visualizing your future success. You feel like a visionary while sitting on the couch. But when time comes to do the actual boring, repetitive work, the dopamine drops. The real work does not give you that instant gratification. Your brain compares the exciting fantasy with the dull reality of writing the first page or analyzing a spreadsheet. This is where things get interesting. Your brain will actively look for easier sources of dopamine, like social media or video games, to replace the high of your big dream. There's another reason almost nobody talks about, and it involves your internal identity. Research suggests that highly ambitious people often tie their entire self-worth to their intelligence or potential. You might have been told you were gifted or full of potential when you were younger. As an adult, this creates a heavy psychological burden. If you try hard and fail, it means you are not actually smart or talented. Therefore, staying stuck is a subconscious strategy to preserve your identity. As long as you do not try, you can always tell yourself, I could be successful if I really wanted to. It allows you to keep your identity as a genius intact without ever having to test it in the real world. Furthermore, studies have found that ambitious people often suffer from a phenomenon called choice overload. Because you are capable of doing many things, you want to do everything at once. You want to learn a new language, get in shape, start a side hustle, and read 50 books a year. When you have too many priorities, you effectively have no priorities. Your brain experiences a state of cognitive fatigue just trying to decide where to begin. Faced with a dozen different paths, your nervous system chooses the path of least resistance, which is doing absolutely nothing. The sheer weight of your options completely freezes your ability to take action. So how do we fix this? How do you unlock all that trapped potential and turn your ambition into actual results? The first technique is to lower the stakes by using the 5-minute rule. Since your brain is paralyzed by the massive scale of your ambition, you need to trick it. Tell yourself you are only going to work on a task for 5 minutes. If you want to stop after 5 minutes, you are allowed to stop. Psychologically, this works because it removes the threat of a massive, overwhelming project. The hardest part of any task is almost always the friction of starting. Once you overcome that initial barrier, your brain enters a state of momentum, and it becomes much easier to keep going. The second solution is to implement what psychologists call implementation intentions. Instead of telling yourself a vague goal like, I am going to work on my project tomorrow, you must create a highly specific trigger. You write down, when I pour my first cup of coffee at 8 a.m., I will open my laptop and write one sentence. This takes the decision-making process out of the equation. You no longer need to rely on willpower or inspiration, which are highly unreliable. You are simply executing a pre-planned script, which bypasses the emotional resistance your brain usually throws at you. Finally, you must practice separating your self-worth from your output. This means shifting from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. Accept that your first attempts will be messy, imperfect, and potentially bad. Give yourself permission to produce a terrible first draft. When you normalize mistakes as a natural part of the data gathering process, rather than a reflection of your intelligence, the fear disappears. You no longer need to protect your ego, which means you no longer need to hide behind laziness. Being an ambitious person with a tendency to stall is a unique kind of mental prison. But it is a prison with an open door. You do not lack talent, and you do not lack a vision for your life. You simply have a brain that is trying too hard to protect you from the discomfort of growth. By shrinking your tasks, managing your emotional triggers, and allowing yourself to be imperfect, you can finally align your actions with your intellect. If this video resonated with you, let me know in the comments which of these psychological blocks felt the most familiar. If you found value in this deep dive, please hit the like button and subscribe for more insights into human behavior and personal growth. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.